Indian IT was built on selling human hours. But what happens when AI reduces the value of those hours? For decades, Indian IT companies had a simple advantage. Global companies needed technology work done. India had trained people who could do that work at a lower cost. The client paid in dollars. The Indian company paid salaries in rupees. The difference became margin. That model created giants. TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, Tech Mahindra. Then Claude entered the conversation. If one engineer using AI can now do more work, clients will expect smaller teams and lower costs. And for Indian IT, that is a problem. Right now, companies are getting high on AI. Faster implementation, faster testing, lower costs. But if you ask any actual developers about Claude, you'll hear very different opinions. Some will say it is just another productivity tool. Others are watching it do the same work faster without asking for a salary. We'll come back to that in a moment. But first, to understand the problem, we need to separate two things people often mix together: technology companies and technology services companies. They sound similar, but they make money in very different ways. A tech company builds something it owns. Google owns search, Microsoft owns Windows, Apple owns iOS. Once the product is built, they can sell it again and again. Indian IT became famous for a different business. It helped other companies run their technology. Indian IT provided the people to build, fix, maintain, and support those systems. This was valuable work, but it was still a services business. And honestly, this made sense for India at that time. Building products needs money and years of failure before anything works. Western countries had that cushion. They had capital and generations of accumulated advantage. And let's be honest, part of that advantage was built during a time when countries like India were paying the price. India did not have that same luxury to experiment. Services gave India a faster way to create jobs and revenue. It was not glamorous, but it worked. A services company grows by adding more people to client accounts. AI does the exact opposite. With Claude, clients start asking if the same work can be done faster, cheaper, and with a smaller team. For a services business, smaller teams means smaller billing. This is the company side of things. Now let's look at the worker side. Among the developers, the debate is slightly different. Some people say the fear is overblown. They say real software work is messy. And they are right. A real company software is messy. It has old systems, half-documented decisions, security approvals, internal politics. When something breaks, someone has to explain it. Someone has to take responsibility. Claude cannot replace that responsibility. A senior engineer who understands the system and the business still has value. Actually, that person may become even more valuable thanks to AI. Because with AI, a good engineer can move faster. They can test ideas quicker. They can produce drafts. They can clean up routine work. Claude can become leverage. But there is another side to this. If Claude makes a good engineer faster, the company will expect more from that engineer. This is the part people are underestimating. AI may not replace you directly, but it may raise what's expected from you. Earlier, one person had a certain workload. Now the manager may say, "You have AI, why is this taking so long?" The client may say, "Your team has AI, why are we paying the same cost?" The company may say, "We can handle this account with fewer people." Nobody has to say AI replaced this job. The same job simply becomes heavier and requires a smaller team. The deadline gets tighter. Expectations go higher. You feel more productive, but also more squeezed. This is where Indian IT gets divided into two groups. People AI makes stronger and people AI makes unnecessary. Because AI exposes who was adding value and who was just adding headcount. Today, the value is moving towards judgment. Can you understand what should be built? Can you check whether the AI output is safe? Can you understand the client's real problem? Can you take responsibility for the final result? That is the change. And this change is good for strong engineers, but it is dangerous for people who can only work with clear instructions. This is why Indian IT feels exposed. Indian IT grew because the world needed a lot of tech work done by people. AI changes that equation. Indian IT companies now have a difficult choice. If they move slowly, clients may think they are outdated. If they move fast, they reduce the same manpower model that made them successful in the first place. That is the trap. The old model made money by billing people's time. The next model has to make money from outcomes, reliability, and judgment. And that transition will not be smooth. But here's the strange part. AI may reduce one kind of Indian IT work, but it may create another kind later. Because if companies start building faster than they understand, someone will eventually have to clean up the mess. We will come back to that in a bit. For now, let's talk about the people who may lose the most: fresh graduates. Earlier, Indian IT gave many people time. You could enter as a fresher, learn slowly, make mistakes, sit inside a large team, become useful over time. That was one of the best things about Indian IT. It absorbed people before they were fully ready. There is another problem here as well. Every senior engineer was once a junior. If companies stop giving freshers enough openings to enter, where will the future seniors come from? Before AI, a graduate from an ordinary college still had a chance. The salary may not be glamorous and the work may not be exciting, but it was a start. In India, an IT job signaled stability. It made parents feel that the sacrifice paid off. It turned education into income. But if companies hire fewer entry-level workers, the first IT job gets harder to get. And for many Indian families, the first IT job was the first step into the middle class. The company may still hire freshers, but it may hire fewer, and it may expect them to arrive with proof. Real projects, problem solving, communication, AI fluency, basically someone who barely needs training. That is a higher bar. And it will not affect everyone equally. The student who already knows how to build will have an advantage. The student who was hoping to learn only after joining may be left behind. Both may have the same engineering degree, but the market will not treat them the same. This is where India's education problem becomes part of the IT problem. For years, we celebrated how many engineers India produced. But the age of AI rewards capability rather than numbers, and that is a drastic change. Everyone keeps saying, learn AI. But learn AI for what exactly? Because knowing Claude is not enough. The tool will keep changing. Today it is Claude, tomorrow it may be something else. Companies do not pay people simply to type prompts. They will pay you if you know what problem to solve, how to use the tool properly, and when to reject the answer. And this brings us to the strange part of the story. What if I told you that AI could create a new kind of work for Indian IT? Because speed has a cost. Right now, companies are rushing to build with AI. Code is being generated faster than ever before. Internal tools are being built faster. Workflows are being automated faster. Products are being shipped faster. For a while, this will all look like a miracle. But later, another problem may appear. Code that nobody fully understands. Systems built too quickly. Security lapses sitting inside AI-generated fixes. Tools that work today but become a nightmare like 6 months later. And when that happens, somebody will have to clean it up. In the late 1990s, the world had a boring software problem called Y2K. India helped fix it. That moment helped Indian IT become global. What do you think? Is AI going to reduce Indian IT work? Or is it going to create a new cleanup industry later? Comment below. But the uncomfortable part is this. Claude did not create this problem. It only made it harder to ignore. Because the Indian IT dream was already weakening before Claude entered the picture. The warning signs were already there. Hiring was slowing, salaries were stagnating, and some of India's best tech talent was building the future in America, not India. I've covered that story in my previous video. You can watch that next.